Chronos Before the Ashes is a rebooted adventure RPG by Gunfire Games and THQ Nordic that was originally released in 2016 for the Oculus Rift. And while it offers an interesting aging mechanic and pretty visuals, it loses too many points to clunky combat, ceaseless backtracking, and a fever dream plot that makes the rambling works of James Joyce seem friendly and approachable. As with any game that drags around the ubiquitous Souls-like descriptor, Chronos tries to deliver challenging gameplay by leaning heavily on precisely timed attacks, dodges, and blocks, but any and all difficulty is instead sourced from the oftentimes ridiculous camera angling and questionable hitboxes, neither of which are made better by the sheer lack of variety in attacks or defensive maneuvers available to the player. Sure, you can collect and upgrade a handful of different weapons found across each map, but their effect on gameplay often boils down to which one you think looks coolest as you trudge through yet another stone hallway. Chronos also sports some truly questionable design choices, chief among them being a stamina bar that only drains when players run. Correct me if I'm wrong because it happens often enough, but dodging and swinging a massive warhammer surely soak up at least a little energy, and this seems like an easy enough way to add an extra layer of complexity to what is supposedly a melee-focused game. Character stat upgrades and the magical charged attack variants also appear half-baked in their limited capacity, and the complete absence of something so quintessential as armor feels like a real missed opportunity. All that being said, Chronos does offer a hefty variety of puzzles to break up the monotonous combat, but even these boil down to running here, going there, collecting everything you can possibly find, and rubbing it on whatever the game prompts you to interact with. Some challenges feel a bit more capricious than others, and you'll find plenty of opportunities to forcibly trek through the map half a dozen times to get a single door opened, so just remember to pick up anything and everything that isn't nailed to the floor. The nicest thing I can say is that the developers absolutely nailed the aforementioned aging mechanic. Each death in the game ages your intrepid hero by a year, and every 10 years you get to pick a terribly powerful upgrade because the game feels sorry for you. This rendered me kind of paranoid every time I came close to death, and watching your character age at the rate of a block of cheese at room temperature added a level of urgent panic that I actually found horribly engrossing. But all that being said, Chronos has no right to play out the way that it did. Its first launch and the 4 years in between should have been more than enough time for the developers to retrofit the game for mainstream PC and console consumption, but the whole thing just plays like a VR demo. At its best, Chronos is the kid glove version of Remnants, which is the kid glove version of Dark Souls. It's bland, tedious, and lacks a compelling reason to carry on, and that's why I'm giving Chronos Before the Ashes a 2 out of 5. Check out my full review and much more at Gizorama.com.